Let me just say something to all my conspiracy-oriented friends on the right who think I'm planning to unleash some secret agenda. You're absolutely right. In my first term, we ended the war in Iraq. In my second term, I will win the war on Christmas.
Washington holiday tradition is going dark after more than 30 years.
I want to know more about this.
The star-studded and first family-studded Christmas in Washington is no more.
This mass shooting comes just days after a gunman killed 3 people in a Colorado Planned Parenthood clinic. 375 people have died in mass shootings. That's this year alone.
But those shootings were all by lone gunmen who were either then killed by police or their own gun or taken into custody. Today's mass shooting is something new.
This is different. This is now an organized, multiple offenders, mission-oriented shooting with maximum lethality being the goal. That's different from anything that we've seen before, more in line with what we saw in Paris.
Last June, we led this broadcast with the church shooting in Charleston, South Carolina, and now we have led the broadcast with a mass shooting on average once every 4 weeks since then.
Oh my gosh. Guys, they just shot at my house right now. There's cops all over the yard. Holy shit.
This was the shootout that our cameras missed. One neighbor out in the front yard, and another crouching down in his garage.
The suspect's family in disbelief.
And to remember that our Islamic brothers and sisters are not at fault here. This certainly is not about the Muslim faith. We stand together, Muslims, Christians, Jews, people of all faiths.
On this last leg of his Africa tour, Pope Francis made his first trip to an active war zone today. He arrived in the Central African Republic, a country swept up in violence.
It took a fair bit of strength for tens of thousands of faithful to make their way into a field for the Mass at Nairobi University. That persistent rain turned into a quagmire.
Police department is dedicated to teaching people how to react and survive.
Active shooter training is the norm for most law enforcement agencies, but in Neenah, the police department there is also sharing their knowledge with the community.
The bullets may be fake and the bad guy a good-natured cop, but the intensity very real every time Neenah police hold active shooter training in their community.
This time it was San Bernardino. Next time, I don't know where it's going to be, but we know the pattern and we know that these things happen.
Thank you, Chris. Brown County SWAT team was practicing their active shooter training today at the Rest Center.
One person has died as a result of a hostage situation that lasted all day with police in Neenah.
And there were gunshots, multiple gunshots.
Not your typical Saturday in downtown Neenah.
You know, they had a SWAT truck and a whole bunch of stuff out there.
Business owners Brian Gajewski
cars at both ends.
And Catherine Fleischer watched police and SWAT teams take over the streets.
Saw policemen running.
Told residents within a quarter-mile radius to barricade themselves in their homes. After getting a call, no police department wants to receive.
We received a call of shots fired at a business in town. The business is Eagle Nation Cycles at 206 Main Street.
There was a great show of force from the local police departments, and I really did feel safe. So.
Now to this story, revolutionary technology that can edit genetic mistakes is getting attention and scrutiny this morning. CRISPR could help rid us of diseases like cystic fibrosis, muscular dystrophy, and even HIV and cancer. Think about that. But many scientists, including CRISPR's developer, Jennifer Doudna, are calling for a moratorium on its use in humans. A researcher and professor at UC Berkeley, Doudna has become a spokesperson for a gene editing technology she's credited with developing.
Imagine being able to do that in the genetic code, the code of life. You could go in and snip out a piece and replace it with something that corrects a mutation that would cause disease. This is no longer science fiction.
But alongside CRISPR's promise come some fears of its perils, like embryo editing that could lead to designer babies.
Emmanuel Charpentier and Jennifer Doudna.
The high hopes and high stakes associated with CRISPR have catapulted Doudna into a rare stratum of scientific celebrity. Last year, she and her research partner received the $3 million Breakthrough Prize in Life Sciences, which seems to be only the beginning.
Get ready, biohackers, because tech tattoos are just around the corner. Chaotic Moon is a mobile dev company with an idea they're calling Tech Tats. Tech Tats are actually biosensors that rest on top of your skin as opposed to being injected underneath them like real tattoos, and a small microcontroller handles incoming data and storing information. Electroconductive paint allows for temperature sensing, while an ambient light sensor flips on an LED if it realizes it's dark out, making you kind of feel like a really awesome cyborg. A Bluetooth low-energy connection means transferring health data to an app is easy, and since it can be placed anywhere instead of just on your wrist, Chaotic Moon believes it might have a place in tracking. They also mention the possibility of Bio-NFC, which would turn one of these temporary tattoos into a payment portal that you could activate by gesture.
You're paying for other people to steal, and it's costing billions.
Now, a retired police major thinks he has a unique way to fight it. Here's Fox 2's Chris Hayes with the technology that could stop shoplifters before they strike.
Sandy, it's facial recognition software that could help store managers stop shoplifters with a smile.
Our CEO is the guinea pig here, and Paul comes through, you see within a tenth of a second, he's boxed in his rep.
Spies says the facial recognition for retailers would work best as a shared network.
Local police agencies are expanding the use of facial recognition cameras. More than twice as many devices have been deployed countywide compared to 1 year ago. But as CBS News 8's Marcella Lee reports tonight, privacy advocates worry about what may be coming next.
The thing that I worry about is facial recognition becomes like automatic license plate readers, that everywhere you go, there are cameras that are able to track where you're moving because they're able to identify your face.
So far, that hasn't happened, but new technology is emerging.
So some of the other technologies to keep an eye out for are iris scanning. That's a big one. We've also seen the Department of Homeland Security develop a tattoo recognition app.
Actually, Jaden thinks of himself as a modern day prophet. He actually said, I don't think I'm as revolutionary as Galileo, but I don't think I'm not as revolutionary as Galileo. What? Yeah, apparently a source said that he has ties to people in other dimensions and galaxies, and they're actually helping him write these essays.
Pope Francis touched many lives and kissed many babies during his September visit to the U.S. But a Pennsylvania couple is crediting Pope Francis with much more. They believe the Pope healed their baby girl's brain tumor.
They're calling it a Thanksgiving miracle. The parents of a 3-month-old Batavia girl say a divine hand cured their daughter.
And doctors at Children's Hospital who saw a tumor on scans found nothing when they went in for a biopsy.
So after taking Paisley to her pediatrician about a month ago, he suggested a scan just to be on the safe side. Those scans showed some kind of mass on her left temple near the base of her brain. And it was Monday when doctors at Children's downtown wanted to do a biopsy. The Hatfields say all the while they had friends, family, and people all across the country praying for little Paisley.
As soon as he come in and he sat down, he was just shaking his head. He was like, your prayers must have worked. He said, because when I went in there to get that biopsy, he said nothing was there.
A statement today from the hospital said, quote, doctors at Children's had expected the worst, a malignant tumor. But when surgeons reached the spot where the suspected tumor was visible on the scan, they found nothing. So could it have been a problem with the scans? Children's says one of their best radiologists was on the case.
I even asked that question myself. Miracle, it's a true healing.
Lots of things happening. You can just watch the news and you can know that stuff is going on in the world. The world is in turmoil. Jesus called it the birth pains. There's things, waves of things, just like a woman who's travailing in birth, that those pains get increasingly worse and worse as the birth gets closer and closer. Our world is experiencing these same birth pains. Things are getting more and more intense, and things are happening faster and faster. Verse 21, and it shall come to pass that whoever calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved.